Hey, good afternoon. This is a reflective discussion board of the skills for Module 3. The first question is what skills described in Chapter 7 and identified on the Leadership Skills Questionnaire would you ask or secure needed resources such as staff? One of the big things I think from a leadership perspective, one skill that you have to have would be the I scored very high on the conceptual skills level, which would allow me the opportunity or the skill to visualize the big picture, if you will. In addition to that, some of the areas that I highlighted when problems arise, I immediately address them. Managing people and resources is one of my strengths, and I'm effective at obtaining resources to support a program. And I think that is key or essential when you're talking about the acquisition of skills, the ability to see big picture. What does this mean? What are the impacts? Who do I need to influence? Who do I need to communicate with? Are there any anticipated barriers? Are there any anticipated ripple effect of the decision that I make? So making sure that I am instituting effective management change in anticipation of I'm fulfilling my needs of my program or my staff, but are there any other departments that may be negatively affected? How would you use published literature in the process? I think looking at the literature from a staffing perspective, specifically in this example, what is the best practice or what is research demonstrated through the research that would say you need to use a staffing model on this particular unit with this particular skill set of a 3 to 1 or a 4 to 1 model or a 5 to 1 model. So, not assuming or speculating about what I need, but actually looking at industry standard or looking at best practice and saying by using this level of resources or bringing up my current staffing level to this level of staffing, research demonstrates it impacts outcomes. It impacts the KPIs of the industry. Identify the levels and departments that you would need to work with in order to be effective in your role. Again, I referenced early the concept of effective management change, and I think when you look at that concept or that principle, you really have to look at how it's going to impact me and my direct reports or the people that I have influence over, but also how is this change going to affect other departments that I collaborate with. So, for example, if my staffing is not at the level that it would need to be, does that mean that I'm actually taking up more resources from the float pool of my facility, which then would negatively impact other departments that may be short staffed as well? Or if the facility that I'm working for has a finite pool of resources for capital expenditure or from a budgetary standpoint, if I take all of the resources to bring my department up to maximum staffing or optimal staffing in this example, would that mean that there would not be available resources from a finance or capital standpoint for another department to work or meet their need? So I think looking at the big picture of an organization and saying we have these resources that can be utilized over the entire organization and making decisions that impact departments, considering the ripple effect of that. And then the last question would be explain if you feel you would have a preference for vertical or horizontal structure or a particular model and why. I think there are advantages and disadvantages to a vertical and a horizontal structure. The current department that I work in, we embrace kind of a mix between the two. So we have a hierarchy or a chain of command, which is congruent with a vertical structure in that we have line staff, we have mid-level supervisors, you have program manager, director, administrator, VP, COO, CEO. And we really truly encourage our staff to follow the chain of command and not jump levels in order to give the leader that is at the appropriate level the opportunity to respond and mitigate or realign resources as needed that promotes buy-in and ownership from the staff level up. From a vertical standpoint, or a horizontal standpoint, excuse me, that is a model that embraces it's a almost leveling out the playing field, if you will, where everybody has buy-in and it's not a top-down approach. And that's why I say I think a hybrid model would work very well in that you want ownership, you want decision making, you want autonomy, you want the line staff to be innovative in their practices and not wait for someone to tell them what to do. But I also think there is some advantage to having a clear line of reporting so that each area is segmented out into the responsibilities. It's not just let's push everything to the middle of the table and hope someone picks up the task and completes it. Our current organization uses a shared care model, which is similar to what was described in the text as a partners in practice. This model actually has several nurses or teams working together with patient care techs, and it also integrates the physicians, social work, nutrition, physical therapy, respiratory therapy, etc. And by working in a team approach or a modeled team approach, it allows for more collaboration between the team as well as between nursing and other disciplinary bodies or practitioners. Thank you for your time, and I look forward to hearing your feedback.